scratch. I also want to know how you raised funds. We have to talk about money. Or was it the right time to start? Was it the right time? Let's start from there.
Well, I started when my mom, then I was the last child, she would take me to our tailor. She was an executive in the insurance, Nigeria Reinsurance, and so she would take me to our tailor to make clothes. And opposite the tailor, there was this company called Alanco. It's no longer in existence, and so they old chicks, and you just found a lot of vehicles and people all out there. And one day I said, these people should be making a lot of money, because they're always screaming, shouting, it's my turn, it's not your turn, I want it, So one day I just told my mom, excuse me, and I crossed when she was busy, and I went in there and I saw how money was exchanging hands, and I was like, wow. And so I asked one person, and they told me that, oh, I actually buy the day-old chicks, that's the freshly hatched chicken, and I rear it for 3 weeks, and some people come to buy it. I'm like, just 3 weeks? And so I put my savings together, and I bought, and that was 1987.
Wow.
That was June. I think some 2-3 weeks, I can't recall it, but I know it was sometime in June, when they were burying late Awolowo. So I started, and I did my first 3 weeks, it was fine. Second 3 weeks, third 3 weeks, and I began, so along the line I said, okay, what if I can make more money if I rear to table size, meaning to full maturity? And I was doing cockerel, which is the male male
That's the
chicken, the cock. And so I started, and it was good. And along the line, my dad discovered that I was doing it in his house. And later,
were you still in school?
I was in secondary school. I was in
how old were you?
How old was I? I think I was in from 1.
So you were really into business and entrepreneurship?
Just what they call JS1 now.
That's really young.
Pretty young. And so when my dad discovered that I was selling chicken to his friends on the street during Christmas, he now said, in my house? I said,
How much were they going for at the time?
I'm not sure, I can't even recall.
I'm sure you remember your first money, your first 5 naira.
Oh, well, I can't really recollect that, because I made quite a lot in quick successions. And I didn't keep good accounts then, but I shall know that I wasn't ready to sell at the time they came to buy. And so I just found out that demand was more than supply, and the more people came and they knew that I was rearing, so they were buying, and it was my blood. And later I diversified into rabbitry and guinea pigs, and along the line I went to the farm. My dad had about 1,000 acres in 2 locations, and I saw 750-acre rice farm, and along the line we had another 400-acre corn.
By your dad?
So I now decided, and I saw cassava. So the farm laborers were the one planting cassava, and I saw the cassava was really big. So I paid some of the staff to grow cassava for me, and I diversified into yams. And so along the line I overscaled, and I couldn't pay them for weeding, so they had to go tell my dad, and he said, show me the farm. And he went, and he saw that I own cassava, 400 tuber heaps of cassava and 600 of yams. So he began to fund it, and I began to scale. And so secondary school was interesting for me. I couldn't do what others could do, because I had a lot of rabbits, a lot of guinea pigs. So I couldn't play ball except the ball we played in my house and the house at my back, because the remaining of the time was meant for me to go get grass for rabbits.
So would you say you grew up in the farm somehow?
So I grew up in the farm at home, and all my holidays, bulk of it was spent on my dad's farm. So it was just something I was cut out for, and I developed passion for it.
Wow.
So
did you think that you would continue to a large scale and become who you are right now?
Early enough I decided that I was going to be a consultant before I got into university.
Okay.
I set out that I was going to find out what works, and I was going to share what worked. And so today, even though I didn't really look at this, I thought I was going to have a massive farm, which I did at some point in time, and I just felt this is not what I want to do. I actually wanted to have bigger farms than President Obasanjo. He was someone I was aiming to beat off, but at some point in time I discovered this is not me. I want to share knowledge, so
what motivated Africanfarmer to choose agribusiness as a career?
Well, I saw a lot of people, even though food was wasting, I saw many didn't have food to eat. And beyond that, I saw people weren't doing it right. So I was privileged that my dad had combine harvesters, tractors, and I read magazines of how it was done in the US, in California, in Malaysia, but you don't see those things around. People were just messing up with investments, and I thought, okay, maybe I could do something. And I just love the farm. There's a smell of corn in the morning. My corn that is not mature, like 45 days to 60 days. There's this smell of cassava, smell of yam. When you get to the farm, and especially what I used to really love, and I'm going back to it, was that when we harvest the yam fresh, wash it by the dam. So my dad has 34 fish ponds covering about 15 acres and 2 dams. So you uproot the yam fresh, you take it by the dam, the stream, you wash it off. You now cut it. You don't peel it. You cut it, put it in a pot. You now cut banana leaves. You steam it. You cover it with banana leaves. Put the lid on it. When it steams up, that's heaven on earth when you taste that. So we grow garden eggs.
Wow. Look at the memories.
Palm oil. So we steam the garden eggs and the yam, remove the outer peel, mash it
with palm oil,
and now put hot palm oil. And that was lunch.
I ate a lot of that in my grandmom's house.
The taste of yam that is not peeled when cooked, and the steaming of banana leaves
on top of it.
Wow, we're missing. We're missing. And a bit of, now they say fire, charcoal, all those things. The taste is beautiful.
Talking about your dad with such amazing memories that I can even envision myself, I'd like to know where we are right now with agriculture in Nigeria. Do you think things were better back in the 80s, the 90s, or we're just about getting it right now? Where are we?
It was better. We had better structures. Most of the companies that was here then, just a handful, less than 3% are still available. Others have left. Then it was not government funding a lot of things. It was the private sector and multinationals that was funding, and government, they were funding the infrastructure of government. I can remember Sibagegi. I don't know if any of my listeners today know Sibagegi. Sibagegi, they were funding cocoa farmers, supporting them with insecticides, herbicides, and everything, and they will do buyback, which is still the system now, but you don't have the private sector involved in it. But yeah, it was better because of the structure that we had then. However, my favorite quote: out of every adversity comes a greater or equal opportunity, provided we can look for it. That's Napoleon Hill in his book Think and Grow Rich. If the system was going at that trajectory, what we call opportunities today will not be opportunities. We would be in the level of the US, the UK. Now they want what we want, and we are looking for what they are trying to abandon. So the natural foods that they want here, if we had developed, let me use the word overdeveloped. If we had developed what we call organic, that the whole world is rushing for now, we would have passed that stage, because we have large population. So yeah, it's 50-50. It's a challenge, but it's an opportunity also.
Would you say because your dad had a land, it also helped you and propelled you into the right direction? if you didn't wake up in the farm, if you didn't used to go to the farm during break periods, would you still be a farmer?
Yeah, I think so, because growing up when my brothers were watching Tom and Jerry and Mickey Mouse, our house was like 3 plots, corner piece. So we had sweet potatoes, we had sugar cane. My dad was GMD Odua. So I think there was about 60 companies under Odua then. All the 60 MDs will send chicken and turkey. All the general managers will send chicken and turkey.
Wow.
All the executive directors will send chicken and turkey. So we had a massive poultry that till Easter we were still feeding those chicken, and my dad was giving out 6 6 6 6. So
Wow.
I really grew up there, and you will always find me in the farm,
Yeah.
as against watching television. So television didn't cut it for me. I just like, so my grand aunt, I would be owing different types of yams. She came from the village, so she maintained the farm, and I would always be in there. So I guess I was just cut out for it. It didn't mean that I didn't try to give up many times, but that was my foundation. I saw the big picture. I saw tomorrow yesterday, and so the today of Nigeria 2020 and all this is still part of my past. So we're still not doing things like I saw then, the likes of General Kenry Ade, massive farms. So if we get back to where we were in 1975 up until late 80s, I think we'll be doing fine. Really.
Wow.
I think we'll be doing fine. And for the first time, I would say this, and I think I get the current minister better now. I've reflected on a lot of his statements, saying that when what he saw in India in 1975 was that Nigeria has no challenge compared to that. So initially, I thought about it. Hey, don't compare us with 1975. But if what I'm thinking is what he was thinking of then, meaning if we can only get agriculture back to 1975, how it used to be, then we'll be good. Because then we were still first in cassava, first in kola nut.
We're still first in cassava, right?
Yeah, but cocoa, rubber, oil palm, granules. We were first in
Many things.
Average between 1 to 5 in an average of maybe 10 crops. So if we go back to being 1 to 5, especially we were ranking 1 2 1 2 1 2. If cocoa goes back to 1 2, cola goes to 1 2, granite goes to 1 2, would unemployment rather won't be an issue in the country. So we need to look at what happened then, bring it
back. All right. So how did you get your capital to begin your first agribusiness venture?
So I had some savings.
Okay.
And my dad gave me pocket money, my mom gave me pocket money, and I started with what I had then. And that's very crucial that I advise all my listeners today. Start with what you have. What you have is enough for you to start. Many a times we look for what we don't have, and we allow that handicap us from moving forward. So I started with what I have, and the principle I've come to learn over time now is that someone is looking at you that has the ability to scale what you're doing. And so along the line, my dad saw me. They told my dad what I was doing. My dad now began to invest. So I got early investment from my dad. So it would just, what the bankers call upfront. So it would pay me upfront for the chicken, and I kept going. And along the line, his friends also plugged in, and so I had more capital. So somebody or people around you who have the ability to support you are looking at what you are doing.
Well, you also have to start with what you have first to attract those people.
So because when they see your effort and your passion and your zeal, that's what they want to plug in. Until date, it has not changed. When people see that, oh, you're doing something, they want to be part of it, either to make profit or to support you. So
So, what do you think the listeners need to do right now before starting their agribusiness? What can they do?
One is to, we spoke about the value chain, and all through this month of August, I'm already in August.
March.
This month of March, we'll be going to how to start your agri business. And number one is look at the value chain. Look at the value chain in terms of what are people complaining about, and so for you it may be that women around you can go to market, or some of them are saying the price of plantain is too high, and if you have enough of those people who are complaining, yours is not to join them in the complaint. Yours is to try and find a solution. You already have a market. On your street there are women, there are men, there are families, so very few of us stay in our own houses. It's a 4-bedroom flat, so if you count 50 buildings on your street, that's 50 times 4, that's 200 families, and if you have 200 families and there's an average of 4, what that means is that if you're the one supplying them food consistently and constantly, you're in market. So look at what there's a gap, either in production, either in distribution, either in marketing, or either in the supply chain. And I talk about rice. Rice has good prospects now because everybody's talking about it, but the production is not where the money is.
Where's the money?
The money is in the seeds, the logistics. So everybody, when they go and plant and they harvest, who will transport it? With that bottleneck of transportation, they are likely to lose the rice. You need harvesters, small combined equipments that will harvest. Without that, you lose the money. The processing mills, without that, you lose the money. The marketing, the market linkage, that's brokeraging. So there's a lot to do. And even at that, don't plan to do what is common. One is, can you do maybe rice milk? Yeah, there are a lot of things that they do with rice apart from eating. So if you want to go into rice and you're thinking of just going to rice to sell, you're likely not to be profitable in a few years. But if you begin to add value, then that's where the money is. Give us something different, and that people will look for you.
All right. I think we should take calls right now for people who have questions, who would like to learn from you, or who admire your success story and have questions on how they can also get started. If you'd like to do so, join the conversation on the phone lines 0809 191 3913, 0809 222 0913. You can also call 0809 234 5913. We have been asking questions, and we're finally getting answers on how African Farmer started his own agribusiness or agribusiness. And you can also be like him, or even better, as long as you're passionate about it. You'll be able to go with that. Lagos Talks. Hello? Hello? Alright, sorry, you'd have to call me back. I apologize for that. So, tell us about this oil and gas sector.
Okay, yes. So, one of our clients is putting together a program, and
let's hold on a little bit, please. Lagos Talks, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Dayo. I'm calling from Lagos here.
All right, Dayo, go ahead.
Yeah, African Farmer, thank you very much for the eye-opening talk you just delivered now, especially with the rice mill.
Thank you.
I just want to ask, is it possible for you to have a section whereby you can have this delivered anyway?
What kind of session?
Okay, whereby the training on how to go into the value chain of rice.
Okay. Yes. So we're going to be 1 year on this program. Sponsoring this program 6th of April. So we're planning something for the 11th of April, which is the Saturday during the Easter break.
Okay.
Yes. So we would let you know. Consistently, we would announce it and on our social media handles.
Okay. On the sideline, I'll hook you up on Entrepreneur Connect.
Okay, fine, fantastic. You're an own boy.
Thank you. Oh, sorry about that. 0809 191 3913, 0809 222 0913, or 0809 234-5913. Lagos Talks.
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
All right, go ahead.
Please, I was just saying this milk, rice milk.
Rice
How
milk.
is it produced? Yes.
How is the rice meal produced?
Yes.
Oh, well, the rice meal is
Stay tuned, thank you to answer that.
is the fabricators. Yeah.
Lagos Talks.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. We can hear you.
This is Wisdom calling from Italy.
All right, Wisdom, go ahead.
Africanfarmer, I just want to greet you for the good work you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
For a start, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm a kind of person like I had an idea of production just around the agricultural products. So now my problem is that I don't know how to go about it. I think I just need a phone to come and guide me and show me how to
start.
Okay. Wisdom. I think I need wisdom too for my next level. But in the next 4 weeks, all through March, we'll be talking about how to start. How to start. It's very crucial we know how to start so that it's sustainable and you don't crash in the middle. I have crashed along many value chains, not knowing when to scale. I like in my primary school, I overscaled. I just took cassava, yam, a lot of things together. I began even to make ogi, dry ogi. Secondary school, I was making odorless fufu.
How did you do
odorless fufu. I was doing a lot of things. I enjoyed it, but it takes your energy out and it takes focus out. So next week I will be talking about focus in agribusiness
and how to start.
How to start and how to focus, because if you don't focus, you would lose money. You experiment. You are not a researcher. The researcher researching, and when they research not for profit. They research to get knowledge. When you are putting your money in that you cannot afford to lose, you don't embrace research. And many people now say, I'm trying to do this, I'm researching. You are not a researcher. The researcher have concluded, just pick it up and use it. So if your capital is very dear to you, pick the material, learn it, get into a community, but you are not a researcher. Do not research with your money.
So back to the rice milk, the question on rice milk, how's it done?
So it's online. If you just put products from rice, you will find that there are many products that we can get involved in.
Lagos Talks.
Hello?
Yes, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello. I've decided that every program I'll bring value addition. Last week we spoke about the granite, peanut butter
paste,
and one of the people in my community, and I spoke with the person, and we complain about things not working in Nigeria. This person went to Cameroon looking for pumpkin. Yes, they make pumpkin flour now, flour to bake cake. Pumpkin that is growing in the north. And this person also makes garden egg flour for baking and co. Garden egg flour, the garden egg that goes with the
granite paste.
With the granite paste.
There's a flour?
Yeah. And so I said, send me the pictures. She sent them to me, and it's wasting in Nigeria, really, but not in the right supply that she can set up with. So she's considering doing it in Cameroon.
All right, so before we go, because of time, you were just about to tell us about the event for oil and gas sector.
Yes, one of our clients approached us, so they're having an event, an agric event. So if you're in the oil and gas, if you're a professional there, you're about to retire, please reach out to us on our numbers, on our social media. This Saturday there's an event strictly for oil and gas that our client has approached us, and it's free, and we will be reaching out to many of our listeners.
Okay. All right. So to do that, reach out on social media at AgricbusinessNG. That's AgricbusinessNG. AgricbusinessNG. You can also reach out on the phone lines 0809 7000 222. That's 0809 7000 222. You can also call 090 6000 6462. That's 090 6000 6462. If you're in the oil and gas sector and you're looking to retire soon, yes, you might want to plug into this event coming up this Saturday, which is absolutely free. So to get more information, contact Africanfarmer on those lines that I've shared, or their office address at 17A Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos. Agribusiness, Africanfarmer.
And next week we have a big announcement to make.
Wow.
Working towards our first year on this program.
Yeah.
We're starting something really, really new. And we would make the announcement next week.
Okay, I'll be looking forward to it because I really need to know what it's about. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming by and for sharing all of your knowledge with us. You already know how to reach him, so disturb him with your questions, okay? Well, don't worry, he'll be back next week Monday, God willing, for more.
5:30.
Exactly. Stay with us. There's more coming up next. There's the Wise Men of Comedy on It's Okay with Okay. I can see Senator somewhere around, so stay tuned.
Giving you the